There comes a moment in every person's life, a moment so quiet, so ordinary, that most people don't even recognize it. It isn't the day you become rich. It isn't the day you achieve success. It isn't the day the world finally notices you. It's the day you become tired. Tired of making excuses. Tired of watching other people live the life you dream about. Tired of promising yourself that tomorrow will be different, only to repeat the same habits again. The truth is, your life doesn't change because the calendar changes. It doesn't change because it's Monday, or New Year's Day, or your birthday. Your life changes the moment your standards change. Most people spend years waiting for motivation. They believe one day they'll wake up feeling inspired, that one day they'll suddenly become disciplined, that one day confidence will magically appear. But that day never comes, because motivation is temporary, decision is permanent. The people you admire didn't become extraordinary because they were lucky. They became extraordinary because one day they made a decision they refused to break, a decision to stop negotiating with weakness, a decision to stop running from discomfort, a decision to become someone they could finally respect. Look at your life honestly, not with guilt, not with regret, but with responsibility, because responsibility is power. The moment you stop blaming your past, you take control of your future. Every habit you've repeated has built the life you have today. Every excuse you accepted has quietly stolen another opportunity. Every promise you've broken to yourself has weakened your confidence. But here's the good news. The same mind that created your current life can create a completely different future. One decision, repeated every day, can transform everything. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need perfect conditions. You simply need to become the kind of person who refuses to quit. Because changing your life always begins by changing yourself. Before you ever change your body, you must change your mind. Before success appears in your bank account, it must appear in your thinking. Everything in your life started as a thought. Every achievement, every failure, every relationship, every opportunity. The mind is the architect of your reality. Most people never realize they've been listening to the wrong voice. The voice that says, "You can't. You're too late. Someone else is better. What if you fail?" That voice sounds convincing because it's comfortable. It wants to keep you exactly where you are. Safe, predictable, average. But average is a price. The price is regret. Imagine reaching the end of your life, knowing you could have become more, knowing your dreams weren't destroyed by failure. They were destroyed by hesitation. That is the true tragedy. Not failing, never trying. Every successful person has fear. Every confident person has doubt. The difference is, they don't let those emotions make decisions. They move anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking action while fear is still present. Your thoughts become beliefs. Your beliefs become actions. Your actions become habits. Your habits become your identity. And your identity becomes your destiny. That's why protecting your mind is one of the most important responsibilities you'll ever have. Feed it knowledge. Feed it discipline. Feed it possibility. Starve it excuses. Starve it negativity. Starve it comparison. Because the world will always try to influence your thinking. Social media, negative people, fear, comfort, distraction. But the strongest people choose what enters their mind. They guard it like treasure because they understand everything they become starts with what they believe. The day you master your mind, you begin mastering your future. And once your future belongs to you, no obstacle, no opinion, no setback can permanently stop the person you've decided to become. Most people believe success begins with one giant breakthrough, one lucky opportunity, one life-changing moment. But that isn't how extraordinary lives are built. Greatness is almost invisible in the beginning. It looks like waking up when your body wants to sleep. It looks like reading one more chapter when everyone else is watching another episode. It looks like choosing healthy food when comfort is calling your name. It looks like practicing a skill after work instead of making another excuse. Small habits don't feel powerful in the moment. One workout doesn't transform your body. One book doesn't change your mindset. One disciplined morning doesn't create success. But repeat those actions for months, then years, and they become impossible to ignore. Imagine two people standing side by side today. One improves by only 1% every single day. The other stays exactly the same. For a week, there's almost no difference. For a month, the difference is still small. But after a year, one has completely transformed. Because consistency compounds. Just like money grows through compound interest, your habits grow through compound discipline. Every action is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. When you keep your promises, you build self-respect. When you build self-respect, you build confidence. When confidence grows, action becomes easier. And suddenly, the life that once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. Stop waiting for giant opportunities. Master the small moments, because your future is hidden inside your daily routine. Motivation is exciting. It fills you with energy. It makes you believe that today is the day everything changes. But motivation is like the weather. Some days it's bright. Some days it disappears completely. If your future depends on motivation, your future will always be uncertain. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you promised. The people who accomplish extraordinary things aren't always the most talented. They aren't always the smartest. They are simply the people who continue long after everyone else has stopped. Think about every successful athlete, every great entrepreneur, every respected leader. They all had days when they wanted to quit. They all experienced failure. They all faced rejection. But they kept moving, not because it was easy, because they decided their purpose was greater than their emotions. Comfort is expensive. It costs dreams. It costs potential. It costs the future you could have created. Discipline feels painful today. Comfort feels pleasant today. But over time, those roles reverse. Discipline creates freedom. Comfort creates regret. Every morning you choose action instead of excuses. You become stronger. Every time you do what needs to be done, even when no one is watching, you become someone capable of extraordinary things. One day people will call you lucky. They'll admire your success. They'll praise your confidence. But they'll never see the thousands of quiet moments when you chose discipline over comfort. Those unseen moments are what built the person standing before them. Remember this. Your future isn't decided by your best days. It's decided by what you do on the days you don't feel like trying. That's where champions are created. That's where lives change forever. One of the hardest truths you'll ever accept is that you cannot build a new life while protecting the old version of yourself. Everyone wants change. Very few people want transformation, because transformation requires loss. You lose excuses. You lose bad habits. You lose toxic relationships. You lose the identity that has kept you comfortable for years. Growth is not about adding more. It is about removing what no longer belongs. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Every stone represents fear, self-doubt, procrastination, negative thinking. The longer you carry it, the harder every step becomes. Most people try to run toward success without putting the backpack down. No wonder they feel exhausted. If you want to elevate your life, you must first decide what you're willing to leave behind. Leave behind the need for approval. Leave behind comparison. Leave behind the belief that you're too old, too young, too late, or not talented enough. Those are stories, not facts. Every successful person has buried an old identity. The insecure version, the fearful version, the version that waited for permission. You don't need permission anymore. The life you've been asking for requires a stronger version of you. Become that person, and your future will begin to recognize you. People often ask, how do I become confident? As if confidence is something you find. It isn't. Confidence is built, brick by brick, promise by promise. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you place another brick. Every difficult conversation you face, another brick. Every fear you confront, another brick. Eventually, those bricks become an unshakable foundation. Real confidence doesn't come from compliments. It doesn't come from expensive clothes. It doesn't come from money, because all of those things can disappear. Real confidence comes from knowing, I can trust myself. When life becomes difficult, you won't panic, because you survived difficult days before. When opportunity arrives, you won't hesitate, because you prepared while others were distracted. The strongest confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove anything. It simply walks into the room, knowing it belongs there. Earn that confidence, not by talking, by acting, every single day. People overestimate what they can accomplish in one day, but they underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. Transformation is never dramatic while it's happening. It feels ordinary. Wake up, improve, learn, work, rest, repeat, again, again, again. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Some days you'll question everything. Keep going, because consistency matters more than intensity. You don't have to become perfect. You only have to become better than yesterday. 1% stronger, 1% wiser, 1% more disciplined. Those tiny improvements will eventually create a life that your old self wouldn't even recognize. Never compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Focus on your own journey. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity, another chance to become the person you promised yourself you would become. Take it, because one day, you'll wish you had started today. One day, someone will ask you, what changed? They'll notice your confidence, your peace, your discipline, your success. They'll think it happened overnight, but you'll know the truth. It happened on the mornings when nobody was watching. It happened on the nights you refused to quit. It happened every time you chose growth over comfort. Every time you stood back up after failure. Every time you believed in yourself when no one else did. That's how lives change. Not through luck, not through talent, but through repeated decisions, made in silence. Never forget this. Your future is not waiting for perfect conditions. It is waiting for a better version of you. So raise your standards. Protect your mind. Build powerful habits. Choose discipline over excuses. Become someone you admire. Because when you change yourself, everything around you begins to change. The opportunities, the relationships, the confidence, the results. Your life will always reflect the person you choose to become. So don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the world. Start today. Elevate your mind. Elevate your habits. Elevate your character. Elevate yourself. And one day, you'll look back at this moment as the day your new life truly began.